Oh, sorry, the camera's off. Hi, low vision for those who don't know. For those who do know and subscribe to me, I appreciate a super lot. Today, I want to give a shout out to anyone with vision issues. I want to let you know automotive work is not impossible. Neither is carpenter work, neither is plumbing, neither are many jobs you might think of. I know a blind person who rebuilds computers. I know a blind person who does contracting. And I know a blind person, myself included, who can work with vehicles. I know other blind guys who work on cars too. There's a guy down the road from me who rebuilds cars and sells them, and he's blind too. Now, I'm legally blind. I'm not completely blind, but it's still a form of it. Legally blind is different than completely blind. Legally blind means you don't have good sight, but you have some. Blind means you have nothing, zero. So please don't get that confused either, you all. But today I'm going to talk about I got 95 in automotive class and stuff. Now, how do you do that when you can't read the textbook, you might say? Or you can't read a tire gauge? You can't read the gauge cluster on a car, so how can you work on a car? Well, I'm going to explain today. They make tools for people like us today. They make talking tire gauges, talking engine light tools, and stuff like that. The talking engine light tool is plain and simple. It plugs into the OBD reader, meaning it plugs in right where the car computer thing would plug in to read the code reader, and it sends a Bluetooth signal to your smartphone, and your smartphone reads it with TalkBack. That simple. Now, Henry Ford back in the day hired blind people too to do work in his factories. If you Google it, you'll see about that, him hiring the blind. Now, that should show you right now. Visually impaired people can do way more than you may think. I always say there are no limitations in this life except the ones we put upon ourselves. My stepdad always used to tell me, I can't is not a word until you try to do it yourself. And then if you try it and you can't do it, then you know you can't. But maybe try an extra assistance, and maybe with assistance you can do it. Now, if you still can't with that, then you can say, I can't do it. That's what my stepdad taught me. I used to always not like that saying back in the day, but I learned why he said it to me. But now back to the story. I rebuilt the car that was smashed. The whole nose that was smashed. Hood, radiator support, bumper, airbag sensor, all that good stuff was smashed. Fenders, everything. I had to rebuild it, and I did it perfect. How I did it with my hands, using it to put the car back together. It's very simple. That's the most important thing being legally blind or blind. Use latex or vinyl gloves so you can work on the car easier, because our hands are our eyes when we work. So you want to make sure you can still be able to work on a car and keep your hands clean. Usually 3 or 4 layers of rubber gloves will be fine to work with the automotive. And just have a box nearby so if one rips you can change it. Now, electrical, the cars usually, if you follow electrical harness so far, it's a plug that unplugs and plugs in. So if you have to rewire a car, you might think, you gotta splice wires. Not technically. If you get a whole new wiring harness, everything plugs in. At the end where the wiring harness meets together, it should be a 10mm socket you put on, and you twist it, and it's hooked to wiring harness, and then you loosen it, but the bolt won't ever come out. It will loosen and just spin. And when it starts spinning, meaning it just keeps spinning and don't do nothing anymore, that means you pull on the wiring harness gently, and it separates from the other wiring harness of the vehicle. Now, the wiring harness that plugs into the electrical devices and parts, they clip in, and there's a little tab you have to squeeze to pull them off. Now, some of them have a nut on them, like the alternator will have a nut that holds the one wire that runs from the battery to the alternator onto that, and that will be on by a nut. Or the starter will have the wires on by a nut. Now, some parts will have nuts, some parts will just have clips that hold the wiring harness in. That's very important to know too. Now, I look forward to seeing you all in the next cool video. Sorry, my memory's running out on my phone. And when it gets warmer out, you can see me working on cars soon. And I got a new car to show you all I'm going to be working on soon. Look forward to seeing you all in the next cool video. Peace. See you all soon.